This video is going to be a preview into what we're going to be doing as soon as we complete circles, which will be later this week. We're going to be moving into volume. Now, volume is something that you have seen before. You did it in middle school and you learned different formulas. And part of what we're going to be doing with volume is talking about why the formulas work and how to use it to solve more difficult problems now that you are at the high school level. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is the formulas for how to find the volume of prisms and for cylinders. So prisms are something that you've seen before. You can think of it as a box. But the big thing you need to know is that prisms can have different shapes. So here you have a rectangular prism, but down here we have a triangular prism. So the volume is going to be different depending on the shape of the base. But to make it somewhat easier on you, I'm going to give you one formula for how to find the volume of all prisms. The volume is the area of the base times the height. So you want to remember that volume is how much it takes to fill something up. So when we find the area of the base, we're finding out how much it will take to cover the base. But when we multiply it times the height, we're giving it a different dimension. We're giving it something that it can fill up. So basically, we're taking the area of the base and we're stacking it on top of each other, however many times the height is. Now for this one, the area of the base would be base times height because the base is a square. So it would be base times height times the big height. But down here for the triangle, it's different. We know that the formula for finding the area of the base is what we're going to put in parentheses. The area of the base, since it's a triangle, is 1/2 base times height multiplied times the big height. And then for a cylinder, we know that we're going to use the same formula. Area of the base, see, I'm going to shorten it a little bit, times the height. But for this one, we know that the shape of the base is a circle. So what's going to go into the parentheses? The area of a circle, which is pi r squared, and then we multiply that times the height. So the main thing you need to know is if you have two bases of a 3D figure, the formula you use is volume equals area of the base times the height. Next, we're going to talk about the volume of pyramids and cones. Now, these are ones that do not have two identical bases. If you think about a pyramid, you generally want to think about the pyramids that are in Egypt, and you know that it has a base, which in some cases, many cases, is a rectangle, and then it has a point that it comes to. Now, just like prisms, they can have different base shapes. You can have a rectangular pyramid. You can also have a triangular pyramid where your base is a triangle, and it can be other shapes as well. What we're going to talk about in class is why this formula exists. So the formula for this is 1/3 area of the base times the height. Remember, that height is what's giving us a 3D amount to fill up. For a cone, we're actually going to use the same formula. Volume equals 1/3 area of the base times the height. So let's talk about each of these. The area of this base would be base times height, or length times width. So volume equals 1/3 length times width, or base times height, divided by the height. And then for this one, it would be volume equals 1/3, and we already know that the area of the base is going to be 1/2 base times height times the height. Sorry, I ran out of room there. And for the cone, it'd be volume equals 1/3 pi r squared times height. You don't have to memorize each and every one of these formulas, and that's the beauty of it. If you have, oh, that's not supposed to be there, sorry. If you have one base and one point, volume equals 1/3 area of the base times the height. Now, last but not least is the volume of a sphere. Now this one is completely different. You're going to have to memorize this one completely separately. The volume of a sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. And we're going to talk about why that formula is what it is in class. So what I want you to do for your questions is I want you to try to apply these formulas to different questions. So go to the questions and answer them, and I will see you in class.